Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 145 of the Red Force podcast. My name's Eric Tolado. Joining me today, Christian Tolado.
Issues galore.
Now, we knew this day was coming, Christian.
But YouTube
likes to put things in beta and then removes the old stuff.
just like Facebook.
Yep, today's that day. I don't know how the new live system works, so
Somehow we're live. Through the wizardry of the internet, we're live somehow.
we are live indeed.
Alright. Now, also more disasters.
Yes.
Phone completely dead. Alright, got a new phone. No soundboard. Alright? That means no soundboard. Now, I would play while we're still here just to suffer.
Yes.
Because we are on a 2-week break.
Oda was sick. Apparently. Not sick anymore. So, no need to panic.
Oda
Recovery.
is safe. That's what
Do you think
matters.
it's like the Drum Kingdom where he's got like 400 doctors
Yes.
in a castle?
Oda is the king in Japan.
Shueisha's like, listen.
He can't die.
Listen.
He's that cash cow. We can't let him die.
Indeed.
Spend all the money. Get it done.
Some people suggesting that's why the last few chapters were shitty. Because he was sick.
Last one.
Yeah.
Alright? We already talked about that though. Now, in other disastrous news,
Yes.
my stomach's not too good today. Alright? What does that mean? Could be some disasters during the Zone recap. Alright?
Like it's not that long. It's not just Rosa.
It's not just Rosa, alright?
I imagine we'll be out of there pretty quick.
Yeah, let's hope we can keep a lid on it.
Uh-huh.
As it were, alright? Now, what else is going on? We got the anime?
Listen, alright? One day I'm going to rant about the community. Shut the fuck up about the anime.
Is it next week?
It's not hype. Don't get out of your seat. Don't go, yo, Sanji. It was alright.
Is next week's topic of the show Eric's anime rant?
Yes, because the standards are so low
Yeah.
that people lose their minds at nothing. That's how low the standards are. Was that Sanji Drake sequence nice? Yes, it was nice. Was it weird and half-baked? Perhaps.
Now, how funny is it going to be in the manga when Oda goes, Sanji finally unlocked Armament Haki? Armament Haki hardening. How hilarious
That's
is
the
that
whole
going to be?
thing.
How hilarious is that going to be?
When King of Lightning comes on the show, maybe next week, who knows? I'm going to let him know that he needs to stop saying the anime's better.
Once again, Eric making
I
promises.
said maybe next week. We don't know what we're going to do.
Eric making announcements.
2-week break. Who knows what's happening?
Eric's making announcements.
What do you wanna do next
There's nothing to do, alright? Why are you making announcements? Why are you getting people hyped?
Why?
Just like Cancel Laws Chapter 2.
That's right.
Is it in development?
Yes, pages will be completed today.
Today.
I can guarantee that.
Pages. As in multiple pages.
Perhaps multiple.
Alright, maybe one, maybe two. Alright? Now, Shadow Soul continues. We're moving along in the arc. We're at the character moments, alright? We're at the big character moments, alright?
Yep.
People want to talk about character interaction. People want to talk about character depth. We got it here. We got to unlock. Now, a certain individual has said, my character's better than Guts from Berserk.
Which character?
That's not my name.
Which
That's
character?
not my
Which character are you
statement.
talking about?
We're talking about my main character's better than Guts. What do you think about that?
Who said that? Dart?
No.
Who?
DBC, alright? Someone said it. A certain individual said it. Am I saying that? No, that's not my statement.
So there's depth, Christian.
There's depth, there's intrigue, alright?
Is there
Go read
depth?
it.
Is there hype?
It's got it all, baby.
Uh-huh.
Alright? So go read it. We're gonna hype it up. That's not my statement. It's a real statement. Alright? It's not a fake
Put that on
statement.
the box.
It's a real statement, alright?
Look at that. Slapping the mic.
There's so much hair on this mic because of this dog.
Yeah.
Alright?
She hasn't been in the studio a long time, Christian.
Alright? She hasn't been in episodes.
Yes.
But she's been in the studio
Yeah, she's
a lot.
24/7.
Alright? Covering this place in hair. I'm sucking up dog hair as I talk. Because this mic's full of dog hair. Alright, now. Our weekly donation from Heavy Hime, what's
She
he
thinks
got?
the anime's good, but she's 13 to 12 episodes behind. Is it good? I guess it's good.
Okay. It is time to go into Zou. Alright? Alright? It's time. Let's move into it. Zou recap review.
Now, Christian Dark confirms that Shadow Soul's better than Berserk. That's his confirmation.
You can read that, alright? That's a $2 donation.
Now, Christian,
He spent $2 of his real money.
what are your
to tell you
thoughts that you should have done
What?
anime style with the hard men and the titties, and maybe it would be an all-time classic by now? What are your thoughts on that statement?
I take the long road. I don't take the short road.
Okay.
Alright? We take the long road here.
You
We
know-
take the golden road.
Do you think at some point, maybe when I get fired and I have nothing to do,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe when there's a lull, you and me could craft
The ultimate.
the ultimate community bait and become filthy rich.
Here's why it'll never happen.
Soul crushing for sure.
Here's why it'll never happen. Here's why it'll never happen.
It's so easy.
It is easy, but here's why it'll never happen.
Tell me.
Because you can't work with others. Alright? You can't take ideas and run with them. Alright? It always has to be.
Well, when they're dumb ideas, I'm not going to take them. Let me say this, Christian.
What's that?
I think we could craft the ultimate bait that would make
There's so
the
much bait,
community
though.
go yo, alright? Because that's apparently what all you need to do.
Alright. There it is. Alright? Maybe that's a project in the future, alright? Now, Zou, what we're here to discuss today. We're not here to discuss our future projects. We're here to
Future
discuss
memes.
Zou. Alright?
And then when everyone's like fighting about, no, it's actually good, and we just come out and be like, yeah, we made it as a meme. It's real shitty. You shouldn't like it.
It's the meta joke.
Yeah.
Alright? We're never
The
wrong.
long play.
Alright? So, Zou. What do you remember about Zou? Huh? What do you remember about Zou?
Yeah.
What do you remember? Tell me what you
I remember Minx, I remember Samurais, I remember Jack,
Yeah.
Billy Berryman,
How many chapters do you remember this being?
20.
22 less than about 19 chapters.
Short and sweet.
Quick, to the-
Nothing actually happens.
I wouldn't say to the point. Alright?
This starts a little bit,
Well, it starts a little bit.
maybe.
Stop and start.
Yeah.
Nani, me.
But that's for the bait and switch later.
Sure. Now, on reread, does this arc have impact? Does this arc deliver the kind of highs other arcs do?
Some individuals say it's the best
You post-time skip arc.
posting part.
Now,
The further we get away from Hulk Color, the more I appreciate it.
here's the thing, Zou, great arc. One problem. Once you know the twist of Rizo being safe, Rizo's alive,
Can't taste this thing out of it.
it takes the sting out of the entire arc. Because you already know that information. It's kind of a weird retrospect kind of problem with the arc. Like, you can't really get hyped for any moment.
It's delivering information, which is not really like...
Yeah, it's an exposition
Is there a
arc.
character moment? Yes, kinda. You can still get a little bit... You still get those feels when they go the Rizo's safe.
It's the fact that we like Zou is basically solved at this point. We know
Yeah.
all the mysteries from Zou.
Well,
Maybe
yeah.
a few we don't. With
Zou
the
itself.
Zunisha and the elephant
Yeah.
itself is the only mystery left. We know who the traitor is. So
Yeah,
that's
now
off the
we
list.
do, yes.
Jack has been demystified.
Did we find out how the samurai get there?
Yes.
Did they have a Vivra card? Or they just know via osmosis where it is?
By osmosis, they know where it is.
Okay.
Alright? Don't worry about it. Alright?
Sure.
What was it going? Yeah, we know all the mysteries from Zou except for one. How does Momo know Roger? How did Jack find Zou?
So
The traitor.
we don't really know why the Minks hate each other yet. Kind
We
of maybe.
do. It's Odin's death. That's it.
They kind of got split, run to fight kind of situation.
Yeah, it's got to all do with the traitor.
Yeah.
They think that each other's the traitor. They don't really trust each other because of the way Odin's
It
death.
was literally 2 panels.
There's 2 panels. That's the problem. So, maybe there's something to be said about Wano affecting Zou.
Is this a Dritzkun quote, Christian?
Because here's the problem, right? Zou is an arc of mysteries, an arc of setups,
but
and it's waiting for the payoffs.
it does contain itself, though, a lot.
I wouldn't say that. I would say the opposite.
Okay. We'll get through
Zou
it.
is contingent on Wano. Why? Because there's no real payoffs in Zou. Alright? It's all set up for Wano and Whole Cake Island.
Yeah, okay.
It's a junction arc.
Sure.
And we got Whole Cake Island. It doesn't really affect Zou because it's not really got to do with Zou. You know, the Saji stuff, Capone stuff. There's a few little things here which I'll bring up about, you know, what Peckham says about the box and the information network, all that kind of shit. And all the payoffs are for Wano. The big alliance. Momonosuke being the true shogun. Odin himself, first mentioned here.
Yes.
And all the lore and setup for Wano. We're gonna find out how they make the poneglyphs. Still waiting for that. We're gonna find out the backstory of Wano and the relationship between the Minks and the Kazuki clan. We're still waiting on that. We don't really know about that. So this arc is lore and mystery that is contingent on Wano. It's directly tied to Wano. You can't really sever the arc from Wano.
Okay.
So I would say this arc is affected by Wano in a lot of ways.
Alright. Is it kind of like Punk has a Dressrosa? Kind of connected in that way? Or it's like...
It's more connected,
Yeah,
I would say.
Okay.
It's way more connected than just Rosa is to Wano. It's way more connected. For me, even Punk has it to Dressrosa. Punk has it as a pit stop for Dressrosa, basically. But there are the kids, Vegapunk, other stuff going on.
Yeah.
In Zou, it's basically all about Wano.
Alright.
And the setup to Wano.
So
let's get into it, alright? Now, why are we at the question caller? We don't want the question caller.
We want the recap.
With the recap, alright? First chapter, 803. The Dressrosa crew arrives at Zou. Using Beppo's Vivi card. That's how the Straw Hats get there.
Yes.
They use a Bartolomeo ship to get there. Various gags, calling up grandma.
Sure.
You know, absolute shit show. They find the Sunny, but no one's on there, so they assume they climbed it. And here we go with, is the Straw Hats alive?
Right. The mystery.
Are the Straw Hats
Kind of
alive?
reminds me a little bit of like Thriller Bark, where they're on the ship, and
Yeah.
then people start disappearing and shit.
Yeah. So, we're the Straw Hats, alright? Kojiro draws a dragon and they start climbing up the elephant's leg. Kinemon tells the crew that Zou was their original destination when they were coming from Wano, but they got abandoned. They got
We know that
split
now,
up.
yes.
Alright. They're looking for Ryza the Ninja, who is apparently on Zou. Alright? Next chapter. A monkey falls from the sky. And Kojiro blocks Kinemon's eyes for no reason. Traitor shit. I guess. There's no real context there, he just does it.
Yeah.
He plays some peekaboo game with Kinemon. Kinemon gets smacked in the face by a monkey. Kinemon, yet again, a meme. Confirmed meme. And in the last chapter...
I look forward to them falling off the elephant again.
Happens twice, alright? Alright. Now... Kinemon memed again. The rest of the crew arrive at the top of the elephant and the dragon dies. You know, what's his name? Roanosuke. We miss you.
Robin memes.
Robin memes,
etc.
loves it, you know.
Now, Condro, for the purposes of getting up this elephant in a relatively quick fashion, can you help us out a little bit?
No, he has to draw with his left hand.
Can he draw the legs a little bit more robust?
He has to keep he has to keep the act up, alright? He has to be a shitty drawer, he has to do what he has to do, alright? Luffy rushes off into the island, while the rest of the crew wanders around, looks around, what's going on here? The gates are busted. Looks like there was an attack on this place. Very interesting.
Claw marks.
Let's later on, alright?
Okay.
You're getting ahead of yourself, alright? Zoro walking in the forest with the rest of the crew. Kara comes out, attacks, they clash, What do you think about that?
Does she jump over him?
Does a little maneuver and then they clash.
Would you use the Nani sound effect if you had it? For Zoro.
It's kind of like every clash in One Piece where it doesn't mean fucking jack shit. Right? We see the Electro.
Except
we see
for the ones that help out genders.
Sure. We see the glove. Is it a glove? Is it not a glove? We're still wondering this situation. Is Carrot's weapon a glove or not a glove? Because in the anime she puts it on. But it could just be puffed up fur.
It could be anime retardation as well.
Sure. Does Carrot indeed have gloves? Unknown. Alright?
Who knows?
Wanda shows up wearing Nami's clothes. Nani, is Nami dead? These creatures ain't Nami. Do we buy for 1 second?
No.
Absolutely not. Right? Absolutely not.
Cue the next 3 chapters of this.
Sure. Alright. Next chapter. Carrot and Wanda rush off because Luffy has entered the Wild Forest and he started shit. Alright? The Sacred Wild Forest. Alright? Sacred Wild Forest. We gotta protect the Sacred Wild Forest, alright?
It's important.
It's important.
Now,
alright?
Christian, before you get any further, Glam's in the chat. He returns.
What?
You remember Glam?
Maybe.
He's like, look at these goons. How did this man grift all his way into the Braga and King of Lightning circles? This is the power of the Discord goblins.
They're powerful.
They maneuver. They have no content. They have no channels, but somehow they wiggle in. They get close.
Glab exposed.
They whisper into the content creator's ears.
Sure.
Twisting.
Glab exposed, baby.
Twisting and
Distorting.
changing and distorting opinions.
Sure.
Glam is one of those individuals, Christian. One of those
Certain individuals?
One of those certain individuals you don't know about, but may indeed
influence.
But may indeed influence and twist the narrative of the community. So shout out to Glam, a man in the shadows.
Man in the Shadows, alright? She changed his name to the Man in the Shadows, alright? So, they rush off. Luffy in the Wild Forest, he's starting shit.
Yes,
Brody BB, how can we forget?
can't forget BB.
Brody BB. Luffy clashes headbutts with Rhodey. There's Sparks, Electro, Haki, you know, what do you want to say there? What do you want to say it is? Is it Conqueror's Haki? Maybe. Probably not though, because that's stupid, alright?
Yep.
Zoro's group wandering around the town, and they notice it's been roughed up. What are these crucifixes? What are these scratch marks? What's going on here? The mystery.
Where's Sanji? Where's Brooke?
We're not there yet.
Oh,
Right?
come on, man.
We're still on what happened to Nami.
Did you note last chapter the beautiful double page spread of Zoe itself, Christian Monkey?
Of
was looking
course.
at the Vista.
Of course, the Vista. How can we forget the Vista? Not Flower Sword Vista.
The Vista.
The Vista. Alright?
Yes. Now, did Oda's men draw this panel or did Oda draw this panel?
Oda's men drew this panel. Oda drew Luffy, but Oda's men draw the backgrounds.
Shout out to those dudes.
They get the tiniest of nibs. They get the magnifying
The
glasses
real
out.
unsung heroes.
The background artists, alright? Insanity.
Oda's assistants.
Insanity.
Hopefully they get their own shit published, Christian.
That's why they're there.
Has that happened yet?
Well, it happened with Oda. I think it happened with Toriko Man.
Toriko Man, Oda's assistant?
Oh, some story
I wonder
like
if
that.
I wonder if he just has the same assistants for 20 years.
Who knows, alright? Who knows? But we're moving on. Beppo is trying to break up the fight between Luffy and the Guardians, right? We find out a little flashback. Jack ruins Zoe. Wanda will take Luffy to the rest of the crew, who are corpses. As we find out later, she returned to Brook.
We knew that.
Yeah, we knew that at the time.
Yes.
We knew that. You know, the classic "Other Straw Hats dead."
Now, Christian,
Not gonna work.
Roger's base may say he loves his arc, but at this point he was losing his mind.
Okay.
Got to keep the record straight.
Gotta keep the record straight, alright? But when Sanji is mentioned, they go, Nani, exclamation mark, triple dot. What happened to Sanji? Now we start what happened to Sanji.
Oh.
I could forget.
It takes a while to get the answer.
2 chapters, alright? Next chapter. The Legend of Charles Shanks on the cover page. How could we forget?
Can't forget.
The Legend of Shanks' Child. Right here on the cover page. Next to the world.
Jesus Christ himself.
There he is. The son of the God King. Alright?
Jesus Zhu Shanks.
After the cover page. It's time for the rain eruption. The little mechanics of how Zou works, alright?
Yes.
We need every island.
We need
Every
the
island.
mechanics.
We need the mechanics of how the island works. You can't, the lore, the world building, the mechanics, alright? Kinemon gets knocked off the elephant yet again because of the rain eruption.
Yes.
Alright? We get the lore of how the city works. The elephant sprays the water.
The fish.
The filters clean the water so they're drinking water.
Uh-huh.
Okay, they got desalination plants apparently. Okay.
Well, they've been there 800 years, Christian, also.
They worked it out.
Yeah.
Right? They collect the fish from the waters
Yes.
that the elephant sucks up. They don't eat mammals. They only eat reptiles and fish. Right? So there's your
What are
little,
they, gator guy? What are they called?
the gators they ride, whatever. All right.
Yeah. Not banana gators.
No, that's
Can't forget that.
Can't forget that. All right.
Stupid.
How can you forget the antimatter shot
I can't forget. I won't forget.
that Sanji used, and he's only used it once other time on Oars.
Yes.
Apparently his ultimate attack that he has not pulled out
He's
yet.
got a one-shot king with it.
Exactly, the antimatter kick. All right, can't forget. That's not a cooking move. The antimatter kick is not a kick. It's not a cooking move. All right, what's going
What are
on
you
there?
going to do, though?
A bit of a complaint about Sanji. Anyway, enough about Sanji. We'll get to Sanji. What about Sanji this arc, alright? So Usopp freaks out because he thinks Carrot is gonna eat Luffy because they're with him. Alright, Usopp being prejudiced. These animals are gonna eat Luffy. Prejudice. Usopp. You think he would learn from Fishwood Island?
Scared.
You think he would learn the lessons from Fishwood Island? But he has not. Alright. Law teleports the Zoro and the crew in front of Luffy. It was a misunderstanding the whole time. Alright. They all get brought to the secret hideout base. The crew reunites, but oh no.
Shout out to the double bread spread.
Sure, all the pineapple trees. But oh no. Sanji.
Triple dot.
Where is Sanji? What happened to Sanji?
Shout out to Nami's outfit.
Nami crying, Nami hugging Luffy.
Shout out to the
People getting excited.
shout out to the sheep man.
Sure.
Ancestor of the original Duke, perhaps. Now that we know that. Now that we know the original Duke.
Some
Some
ram
ram man.
guy.
Was he hype?
He gets mentioned in Wano. In like one
Wano
panel.
flashback. Was he hype though?
Yeah. We didn't see shit
Yeah, okay.
from him, alright? We didn't see fucking
Other
shit.
Mix don't have that Odin samurai training.
No.
Like Neko and do.
But apparently they've been connected for centuries.
We still don't know why.
It just so happened. It just so happened.
The Kazuki family specifically.
It just so happened that Neko and Inu washed up on Wano.
Do we know how long the Kazuki reigned Wano for?
Sometime in the past. That's all we know.
And all the other families are like,
Yeah. Basically. Alright. Next chapter. Kinemon decides to climb the elephant in the morning. They've had enough. Okay. We're just gonna stall this out. Alright. Brook is here, but the dog minks keep on attacking him. Cue the gag. I said corpse, I meant Brook. Zora's like, Nani. That was misleading. She's like, what are you talking about? He's a corpse. You know. You know how it is. You know how it is.
Oda just shouting out as misleading.
Yeah. The gag is there. They hit Momonosuke because they think the Minks hate the people of Wano. That's it.
They keep on saying...
Brook assumes that the people of Wano, that the people of Zoro don't want to hear about samurai.
Well, don't they keep on saying... Or is that later when Neko's like, fuck samurai?
They never
Oh,
say
yeah.
fuck samurai.
Well, they say, I'll eat anyone who trespasses or...
No.
Why do I remember that?
Because you're thinking about the Jack flashback when they're talking about...
But-
Neku's lying to Jack.
I don't know about no samurai.
Yeah. He's lying to Jack.
Right.
He's not lying to the Straw
But
Hats.
where does this I hate samurai come from?
The Jack, when he's talking to Jack.
Right. But how does Brook know that?
Because he's like, oh, the reason why the Zoro capital is destroyed is because of a samurai,
okay.
and they might be upset if we ally with samurai.
Alright.
That's the logic,
Okay.
right, of Brook. The army finally tells us what happened to Sanji. Capote appeared on Big Mom's ship, but they got away. We are interrupted. We don't get the full thing here.
Mm-hmm.
We get the little skirmish of what happened on the Big Mom ship in Dressrosa.
Yes.
Inuarashi is awake, so the crew will go speak to him. Alright? The crew will go speak to him. Law also reunites with his crew. It's a little fun. Little
Shout out to
Captain, Beppo trash, of course. Right? Moving on. Next chapter. Wanda tells him all about the Jack invasion. Jack wants Rizo so badly. And here we get into the logic of this. Because it's not about Orochi and his bullshit. What it is Kaido thinks the samurai have intel on Raftel.
Yes.
That's what it is. And it's kind of hinted at in Zou as well.
Okay.
Where Kinemon's like, yeah, Kaido wants us for intel. Which they don't have. Because they never went to Raftel.
Yes.
Kaido assumes they went to Raftel.
Told them about it. Yeah.
But they don't have any information about Raftel.
Which would be a fair assumption.
Sure. So he sent Jack to go get Rizo via the information from Kojiro. Right? So it all works, all connects.
And assuredly they know the root of Zou that wanders the earth.
Sure. Maybe Kojiro made a tracking VV card.
Maybe it's just a tight circle that it just goes in.
Some sort of tracking shit with
Yeah.
Kojiro. You know
Alright.
how it is, alright? We've got a trader. Kojiro's a trader, alright?
Don't they specifically mention at some point you can't have an internal pose there because it walks around?
Yes.
So
That's what I said. It's a tracking, some tracking
some
shit.
system, sure.
Alright.
But I was just saying that because the longest theory was like, oh, that someone had to have a Vera card or one of the Minks or something.
That could be
Whatever.
true. Like, Kojiro could have given him the VV card of Edo or some shit.
Yeah, maybe.
It could have happened, alright? So Sheep's Head is hyping up Jack. He's the man. He's one of Kaido's hand-picked commanders. He's a legend in the
dead
new
this week.
world. Alright, dead this week, alright? Hilarious. How far he has fallen.
But Kaido did say he was handpicked.
Hand-picked.
Were
alright?
the other two handpicked?
Does not say he's the right-hand man in the official. I'll say that.
Uh-huh.
So, you can scrap that off, alright? Not saying that. So, yeah. You can scratch it off the list of complaints. So, Jack getting hyped up. The new man, he's the new world. Everyone knows who he is. Alright? Everyone knows who he is.
Yes.
The Minks aren't going to lay down and let them destroy their capital. They're a royal race. They don't know who Rizo is, but they're not going to let Jack destroy their home. Alright? Just then, Inu arrives and blocks that trunk.
One hand.
One-handed. Necessarily,
It's something.
it's kind of assumed that they're equal.
When do we get the bounty here?
Later, alright? Wanda then claims that they only lost because Jack used gas weapons, alright?
Fact.
Alright, next chapter. Inu went out to sea and kinda met Shanks. Kinda. In like a roundabout way.
At some point, he met Shanks.
He was on the ship during the section of where...
You looked this up.
Yeah. On the section of when when Odin left Whitebeard's crew, he went to Roger's crew, and then Roger went back to Wano to get the Poneglyph.
Yes.
And then Ino and Neku got off the ship. Because they didn't go to Raftel.
Yes.
So that's the timeline. So they met Shanks. Okay.
Do you think Shanks is also like Luffy, where it's like, don't touch my hat, this is my hat, I like the hat, all
Yeah.
I talk about is a hat?
Sure.
Okay.
Alright.
Because we haven't really seen that. But he said it was important to him, so.
Sure.
When we get that Shanks flashback, which obviously Roger's going to do the same thing he did to Luffy. The Shanks did to Luffy.
Sure.
Think that's obvious.
Will we get to see him recruit Ben Beckman?
What, Roger?
Shanks.
Shanks. Depends what the flashback is. Because I imagine it's like, I was from some orphan village and then Roger came and picked us up.
Surely it's him dealing with Roger's death in some way.
Yeah, and then,
His mentor.
I don't know about him building the crew though.
Building the crew, hype as fuck.
I mean, we're talking about spin-off.
We're talking about Yasop. We're talking about Ben
We'll
Beckman.
definitely get Yasop, because Yasop is so
Yeah.
father. Of course, we'll get Yasop.
We're getting Beck back.
Well, Oda hypes up Ben Beckman, Yasop, and Lucky Roo. So we might see the three recruits.
We hope so. Alright, but that has nothing to do with Zou.
All these blue, aren't they? We don't know about Lucky Roo, right? Where's Lucky Roo from?
Don't know. Alright. But we can assume he started gathering his crew after
Maybe we'll
lockdown.
get the answer as to why Shanks was chilling in the East Blue for so long.
Gather that crew. Alright.
Maybe he knows something.
Alright, so it's 6 o'clock, so Inu falls asleep. We don't get any information about that. Before Luffy can get
6
any
o'clock,
intel,
bang, he's done.
is done. Alright? Inu and Neko hate each other so much. They can't see each other. They can't even talk to each other. They can't. If they see each other, they will fight to the death. And this is over Owen's death.
Perhaps.
And we didn't really get an explanation about
They
this.
kind of fight when they're on the over the oil, like stop moving.
Sure. But we get to see a little bit of this after they get thrown out of the oil. No, is it before that? Yeah, it's when they get thrown out of the oil. You're talking like a traitor.
And Shinobu's like, I'll join you.
Yeah. She's like, and Neko are like, oh, you sounded like a traitor up on that platform. You didn't respect Odin. We didn't really get it, alright?
Yeah.
We kind of got it, but not really.
Sure.
Alright? So, yeah. More of the flashback is started, alright?
Indeed.
Inu is trying to reason with Jack, but Jack will not listen. Alright? He won't listen. You think you're going to reason with Jack the Drought? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not happening, alright?
I get what I want.
He gets what he wants. Neku comes out. It's his turn. He comes in, flips Jack. He ain't know about no samurai, alright? He ain't know nothing, alright? In fact, he would kill samurai if they turned up on Zou, alright?
It's amazing to me that Nekoneru fought so well against Jack, right? We said them flip him, stop his trunk, all that shit, right? 5 days. They're switching now, 12 hours. Why would people like, nah, Sulong won't destroy him?
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Silly.
It's ridiculous, alright? So, Neku ends the chapter by saying he's the one who waits for the dawn of the world.
Much like
The prophecy. Alright? Now,
Tokyo Prophecy.
yes. Slash
Odin's
Odin's real prophecy.
Slash Joy Boy's prophecy.
Yeah, alright? And we'll get to that because... Is it the avenging of Odin's death? The dawn?
Or retrieving Wano back, maybe.
Retrieving Wano, opening the borders is the dawn?
Yes.
Yes. So,
Wano...
they were coming anyway?
For some reason, Wano's borders opening equals dawn of the world.
And I've said this so many times, but it has to be physical, otherwise it's stupid. Yeah. Because it's like, you politically open the borders.
By the way, we still have no mechanism for that to happen.
Don't worry about it, alright?
You'd assume that the mechanism would be brought
You
up.
would assume a lot of things about Wano. You would assume lot of things about Wano would have been brought up by now.
But we're almost
According to
Kaido.
Zou.
We might have a long time after Kaido's dead or defeated.
Oh, this ancient lore history.
Just talk for 20 chapters.
Sure.
And it might be the best part of Wano.
We're waiting for it. Zou set it up, and we still haven't got it.
Where's that Yamato Ace flashback?
There's a lot of questions.
Yes,
right?
there is a lot.
There's a lot of questions. Alright? Alright. Next chapter. 8:10. Jack has a 1 billion berry bounty. He's the 1 billion berry man. He was the highest bounty for a short time.
Yes.
Alright?
Not that short.
You beat him, Katakuri. Yeah.
Cracker, wasn't it?
No, it's Katakuri beat his bounty.
Do we get smoothies first, or?
Smoothie's not over 1 billion.
No,
Smoothie's like
something.
800, 900, yeah.
And then Katakuri is 1.3.
1.13 or some
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
And then King's like 1 point. We don't even know King. We only know Queen, right?
Yeah.
1.3 or something.
Yeah, something like that. Alright. So, yeah. The battle lasted 5 days. They couldn't take down Jack. Jack couldn't take down the Jukes. Jack used the poison gas. You know, Jack starts torturing the minks. He won't give up the location of Wano. The only reason why that he left was because Mingo got captured.
And you have to go pick up Mingo.
Exactly. In a roundabout way, Luffy saves Zoro.
Yeah.
Alright? In a coincidental way, he saves Zoro.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Yeah. So, and then Sanji's crew arrives the day after and finds all the destruction. Next chapter.
And the gas and shit.
Yeah. Next chapter. Chopper forces Caesar to undo the gas. Nami uses her staff. Rocks Wanda.
Yes.
Flips her over. Staff skills displayed.
Skill. Singular.
Alright.
Staff skill.
No. Skills.
Yeah.
The block and then the flip. Alright, how can you forget? How can you forget the New World Nami feats?
Let's say
Alright. Physical combat.
Let's see those star feats.
Physical combat.
Let's see those star feats
Yeah.
against page 1.
Let's see them. Against all teams. Let's see
That's
them. Let's see them. Alright? Oh, I'm saying they're there. So when people come at me and say, Nami has not shown any combat feats, I say no. I say go read Zoro. Now, it is on a weakened Wanda from the gas, but a feat nonetheless. Right? A combat feat nonetheless.
Alright.
Right? So we're gonna hear it. Alright?
Okay.
We can hear the blasphemy. Alright. Chopper helps all the Minks get cured, and now they're the saviors of Zoro. Right? The crew is gonna go meet Neko, and Brook tells them about what happened to Sanji. Right? It's about to. Next chapter, we find out. Flashback time. Capone and Peckham's arrival on Zoro. What happened here? What's going on? My homeland is destroyed. Right? Capone forces, fucking Sanji and Caesar to come out, does all these good tactics, captures them. Right? Peckham wants them to be let go because Sanji's the savior of Zoro. Capone says no, shoots him in the back. We're all letting Sanji off the hook. We're gonna do what we're gonna do. Alright? We're here on a mission.
Business.
It's all business.
Yeah.
Capone's all business, alright? They go in you can't. So Capone gives Sanji an offer he can't refuse, alright?
Yeah.
He has to go marry Pudding, Big Mom's daughter. He is a Vinsmoke. He can't refuse it, alright? Next chapter. Sanji is a Vinsmoke, a child of a royal family. Sanji tells Capone that Luffy does not want to be in alliance with Big Mom. Sanji then says, Luffy will be the man to become the Pirate King.
Yes.
Now, Eric said this didn't exist.
I said people said it didn't exist. I wasn't
Eric
sure.
said this moment did not exist.
Ironic that he says this before he goes to Ironic that he says this before he goes to Okay Carl.
Sanji has self-esteem issues. He doesn't believe he's worthy. Alright? He doesn't want to cause trouble for his captain. He loves his captain so much that he's willing to sacrifice himself so that his captain become the Pirate King. Sanji is the most loyal crew member.
That's a take. And that's spin. And you know it's spin.
And there it is, right?
That's a
And there it is.
high level spin. What we'll talk about when we get to Whole Cake Island. Because there's many a stupid scene of Sanji being dumb.
I told you he has self-esteem issues, alright?
Yeah, sure.
Daddy didn't love him. He has self-esteem issues.
Daddy was there. Daddy didn't love him.
Daddy hated him
Yeah.
so much, alright? Daddy didn't love him. At least he has legitimate, real reasons.
Thoughts on daddy issues in manga?
It's good if there's a reason.
Yeah.
Alright? Ace has no reason. Sanji has a legitimate reason. Alright?
Sure.
Sanji has a legitimate reason. Alright? Sanji saves the rest of the crew and gives Nami a note to give to Luffy about him leaving. He takes Caesar hostage. Neko arrives and Capone bails. Sanji intends to return to the crew
But
after this little jaunt on Whole Cake Island. Right?
But not really, though.
But not really though. He makes the crew feel good.
Yeah.
But he knows he's not returning. Alright? He's making the grand sacrifice.
Zoro salty.
Zoro salty later, alright?
Mm-hmm.
The crew is talking about the situation in the next chapter. Luffy wants to go talk to Sanji. He doesn't believe, he doesn't buy it. Alright, Luffy knows what's going on here.
Luffy's like,
instantly.
Luffy's like, this cuck, I have to go pick him up.
Luffy knows that Sanji will sacrifice himself. Luffy doesn't want that to happen. Luffy has to go talk to Sanji. He doesn't believe it, alright? Zoro lays it out flat. He's like, hey, we got Kaido on our ass.
We don't really need Big Mom.
Alright?
But we already got Big Mom upset with us anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Fair point.
It's not...
Fair point.
It's not war-worthy annoyances.
I mean, Luffy declared war on Big Mom and Hawkeye in Fisherman Island, so...
Yeah, but she's not going after him. He's still it's still an empty threat.
They had the Costello, the fucking Big Mom shed on him.
That was to get Caesar, and did that really have to do
They
with...
still have Caesar.
Caesar's somewhere, alright? Don't worry about Caesar, alright? They got Caesar, they got Sanji, alright? Now, Zoro salty. If Sanji wants to sacrifice himself, let him sacrifice himself. We don't have time for this shit, alright? We don't have time for this shit.
Luffy says Sanji's strong.
Luffy says, shut the fuck up.
I'm the captain.
I'm the captain.
Correct.
And you gotta shut up. Alright? And Zoro agrees, alright? That's how it is. That's how it goes, alright? Luffy is planning a stealth mission to go talk to Sanji.
Hilarious.
Hilarious, but he kind of did it with Impel Down. At the start, anyway.
Yeah.
Instantly caught out at Hawkeye Gold.
Yes.
The Intel network is too strong.
What is this Intel network?
It's crazy, right? Big Mom's Intel network, alright?
Apparently she's childlike, Christian.
Peckham lays it out.
Apparently Big Mom has childlike intellect. What are your thoughts on that?
She has childlike impulse issues. Alright?
Not intellect.
Not intellect, alright?
Sure.
Chopper, well, Pedro is introduced. Pedro just like appears and he's like in Hawkeye Gold for no reason.
I'm Pedro.
Yeah. He's just like, I'm here.
We find out later why.
Sure, but he's kind of like, alright, you're here in 2 chapters and now you're part of the crew, okay. Same with Carrot, really.
Mink Sanji.
Yeah, Mink Sanji, alright. Smokes that cig, you know, got the...
Harder than Sanji, though.
Punish Sanji. Right?
Sure, punish Sanji.
Right. Chopper falls in love with a deer called Milky, alright? Now we have a ship. We have a ship for Chopper, alright?
We needed it. We needed it.
It's important, alright? Luffy goes and talks to Peckhams about Sanji. The Vin Smoke are an evil family of killers. Alright? That's all we get for that
They're
chapter.
fucking chubs.
Next chapter. Alright? Apparently, right? Apparently Sanji's father Gorosei. What do you think about that?
Shout out to King Alone.
Elder Star.
Top 5 made aboard.
Alright? The only man who could change the bounty. Alright?
Sometimes the logic in the community astounds me.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Alright, Peckhams is explaining in German 66. Nami doesn't believe it's real. Nani? This evil army is real? I can't believe it.
Yes.
Okay, they're a legend, alright? They're a legend.
In the World Economic Times, Christian.
They're a legend, alright? Luffy doesn't want Sanji to get married if that puts him under Big Mom. He doesn't want that, alright? He doesn't want that. He doesn't need that, alright? He's not gonna let it happen. Luffy has to go to Hawkeye Gold to stop the wedding. Because he's not going under Big Mom. It's not happening, alright?
If only Oda understood how Western weddings actually work,
Yeah.
we could have had an objection.
But, you know.
He doesn't.
Japan weddings are like an imitate. Like,
Faux Western weddings.
not traditional Japanese weddings, like faux Western weddings
I know.
in Japan are the same, alright? Now, here is the thing about this statement. If you don't turn up to Big Mom's invite, she gives a head of a loved one in the present, alright? Cuts the head off someone you love and puts him in the present. Peckhams knows about Sanji's family history. His entire history. We're talking about Baratie. We're talking about the Straw Hats. We're talking about Kamabaka Queendom. He knows it all.
How?
Luffy asks, how the fuck do you know that shit? He says, when you're with an emperor, you know all. You know all the intel network.
And people suggest that Shanks and Blackbeard don't know about Wano.
Ridiculous. When you're an emperor, you know all. You know all the business, everything that's going down.
Underworld
you know it.
situation, Navy.
Exactly. When you come in contact with the emperor, your fate is sealed. It's locked in concrete. They know everything. They have leverage everywhere, right?
Is Jinbei's Luffy's intel man now?
Yes. Now, this brings up multiple questions with Hawkeye Gold.
Like what?
And the fact that Oda kind of just like, yeah, Big Bum's not going after Zeph. People argue that it's Finn Smoke's going after Zeph.
Finn Smoke's business, but now she's just chasing Luffy. Why?
She's like kind of just like ignoring all that shit and placing the blame on
She's
Luffy.
got bigger fish to fry.
Sure, but
She can't go after the head of Shanks. Hilarious.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Or Garp, hilarious.
Hilarious, alright?
Or Dragon, hilarious.
It has to go after Luffy, alright?
Yeah.
So, Zoro wants Luffy to leave Sanji alone. They got bigger fish to fry, alright? You know that scene where Zoro's just hanging out listening?
Yes.
He's worried about Sanji, alright? He's worried about Sanji.
Triple dot many times.
Deep down, he loves his boy Sanji. Alright?
That's why I want to see that combo fight.
Deep down, he loves it, alright? But Luffy has to go, baby. Luffy tells Law about the situation, about Hawkeye God. Law's like...
Shout out to the dum-dums that were saying that Zoro and Sanji should fight each other and Zoro should leave the crew. Because of a cursed sword.
Alright. Enough about that, alright?
People still say, look, Zoro gets the second cursed sword will make his curses more powerful. Shut the fuck up.
It's not like it's a confirmed...
It's not even close.
It's not like it's a confirmed power system that the curses give Zoro his demons, alright?
We got a $2 donation from Christine. Do the Yonko know about Marijoa and the secrets and the...
They know certain things, like the royal poneglyphs.
Shanks knows.
Sure. I mean, they know certain things. I don't think they know everything, but they know certain things, alright?
Surely Shanks knows the ancient history. Like...
You would assume so. Just the way he acts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. They have another feast. Robin, Brooke, and Frankie stay guard on top of the little bay area,
Yeah.
the back of the elephant. To stop Kinemon from entering Zoro, they can't be allowed to enter Zoro. They're going to ruin it. The samurai are going to come in, they're going to ruin the party. We can't let that happen.
Sure.
Right? But they all fall asleep. And Kinemon gets up there, and Nani, oh no.
What's gonna happen?
Yeah. Next chapter, Robert and Frankie Brooke wake up. They're freaking out. They go after Kinemon. The monkey rings the bell to warn people of the samurai. The samurai are here. Oh no. Alright. Everyone is running to the city center. Inu and Neko meet. They're staring at each other. The Straw Hat crew arrives. They grab the samurai. They try and hide them away from them. Inu and Neku start clashing. They start fighting. Kinemon runs over to stop them from fighting. He announces himself as a samurai. Inu and Neko bow, and they say Raizo is a Seifu.
A little bit weird that he's like, I'm Kinemon of the Kazuki. Yeah, they know.
And you
know who they are.
It's like a month for you, Kinemon.
Yeah, it's not even.
Yeah. Kinemon,
they have grown up, I guess, but they're looking like the same.
Sure. Kinemon shows that he is, a samurai. Everyone's like, Nani, what's going on here? So, Usopp's losing it. Next chapter. Jack is back, baby, and he's going back to Zoro. He's not done. He wants that Raizo. He's going to get that one.
Thought he was smart by trying to take on Fujitora and go.
Absolute ridiculousness.
Stop.
He took down 2 warships. That's something.
Is he actually going mammoth form on a ship? Because that seems like a dumb idea.
He went to legendary hybrid form.
Off screen.
Yeah. The legendary hybrid form.
Shout out to Greg on Twitter assuming Jack went hybrid form off screen when he fought Neko and Ino.
He got speed blissed and destroyed in one hit. You know that tiny panel where Ino and Neku rush in?
That's it.
That's the attack.
Uh-huh.
Alright? And that's all we can assume.
They're just too strong.
Alright? Kinemon shows the crest of the Kazuki clan on his back. The Minks and the Kazuki clan are connected throughout history.
Don't know yet.
Still don't know that. Will we find that out? Wano, you would assume Wano's the place to find that out. But we're here. Right, we're here.
We have many a poneglyph to read.
Sure. Momo tells him to stop fighting. Alright? Kinemon is not Momonosuke's father. The legendary mystical figure of Oden is. The source begins now. The source does not stop. Alright? The source is still continuing. Right?
And every time Kinemon or the Scabbers cut Kaido, the source lessens. Tremendously.
Yeah.
On Odin.
We see. Well, Neko and Inu make up for Odin's sake. Inu and Neko take the Straw Hats to their secret chamber. The mystical secret chamber of the Wild Forest, alright?
Now, Glam asked the question, why did Jack go after Neko and Inu? Because Riser, Kinemon, and Konjuro were spotted leaving Wano.
And they travel through time. Yada, 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 right?
Kaido doesn't necessarily know Neko and Inu still exist.
Sure.
That's the answer.
That's the logic.
But the real answer is they appeared and then Kaido's men saw them leave Wano. That's what actually happened.
But that's the logic. You can poke holes in that, whatever. But,
Alright.
You know, that's the logic of the universe. It is what it is there, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, so Kinemon's Odin, the source, you know, it doesn't stop. They go up the Wild Forest, go into the little chamber. We get to see Riser and a red poneglyph. And a whole bunch of ninja gangs. All the
Disappointed in this ninja man.
Everyone's disappointed. He looks like a meme. He hasn't done anything.
He has the electric shuriken.
He does, right? So, Riser is here, right? Next chapter. Inu tells us the true path to Raftel. You need all 4 coordinates to find the location of Raftel. This still makes no sense, but whatever. Unless we're talking 4th dimensional shit.
Dead space.
4th dimensional.
4th dimension.
We're talking X, Y, Z, and time. On a certain specific time, you have to be there for it to
Could be like a Zoe situation.
Could be, right? Constantly moving. It only appears on the full moon of the second month.
Yeah, because theoretically you could just travel between the 2 points.
Yeah, you need 2 points, and you can find it.
There might be weird fucking currents and nonsense.
Nah,
but yeah.
it doesn't make any sense, right?
You could just have it an L shape.
It's an X, so if you have 2 points, you can make the X.
Well, we need all of X or all of Y coordinates. Because if you have 2 of an X and a Y, you'll be in the wrong place.
Is that true, actually? I guess you could have 2 points of travel in between them.
You need north south or
yeah,
east
you
west.
could make it work if you have 2.
If you have northwest, you'll never find it.
If you have 3, you find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have 3, you can do the triangulation and find it. So
we have 3 right now.
exactly. Oh, do we? We have 2.
We have to.
We're about to get 3. So,
yeah.
all right. So, Big Mom has 1. Kaido has 1. 1 is missing. The Fishman Island 1 is missing. Yeah.
Shanks has it, obviously.
Elbaf. Apparently, Oda not interested in Elbaf.
Shanks has it.
We have to find this extra one.
Who's not interested in Elbaf?
Oda apparently. Oda's not talking about Elbaf.
He's talking
About the final war.
He did not confirm Elbaf.
I mean, he's not talking about it.
The Giants have to be involved in this final war, so we're going to Elbaf. That's obvious.
I mean, we have to get this final one. We have to get the final MacGuffin.
Yes.
The mystery MacGuffin.
Elbaf might be after
But
the final
we're talking about... So Whitebeard gave it to the Giants? Because it's Whitebeard's poneglyph. Because he took it from Fishman Island. Allegedly.
Did Roger have it?
Because Fishman Island used to be on Fishman Island.
Yes.
Whitebeard took over the territory, so you could assume that he took it from there.
Took it with him.
And now it's somewhere in the world. You could assume that. Unless Kaido took it back after Whitebeard's
Yeah, we don't know who's got what, you know. Big Mom always had hers.
But there's a lot of theories about the Fishman Island one in the Roger flashback. Or the Odin flashback. So there's that. Right?
Basically Roger flashback.
Yeah. Luffy is planning to get the stone from Big Mom. He's ready to go. He wants that poneglyph.
Broker is interested.
Everyone's interested, alright? Luffy is disappointed about the prospect of sneaking in and stealing the poneglyph.
Why doesn't Usopp, do we know why Robin doesn't go?
Up. Because it's fine.
Robin's
they ask her, she's like, yeah, I'll find the one in Wano. You haven't done that, Robin. Robin goes, "Don't worry, I shall research the one in Wano." Didn't do it.
Oh, yeah. She was looking through papers. Though.
Sure, she was looking through papers. Or
And
whatever.
her plan was to get into the dancing section and infiltrate.
We haven't heard that since, right?
Yeah.
Brooke said there was one in the little nook area. Did the anime show that? No, they didn't show it. So there must have secrets there, right?
It's guarded by statues, Christian.
Crazy, right?
Must be important.
So Robin didn't do that. All right. People from all around the world are going to come after Robin to get her knowledge. Everyone keeps on saying this. Is this Robin going to get captured? He keeps on saying it. Why bring it up?
Yeah, but
Why bring
she's
it up?
like, I got friends that'll protect me. I'm sure some fuckwit goon's gonna be like, straw hat, give me Robin, and then Luffy punch him in the mouth.
Is this the fabled reason why Blackbeard goes after Luffy?
Blackbeard.
But is this how the Blackbeard...
But Blackbeard's already interested in Luffy.
But is this how the confrontation starts because he needs Robin? And then they fight and, you know... Is that how it starts? What do you reckon? Maybe?
Couple of options. Fight for last poneglyph. You know, fucking Blackbeard's attacking Alabasta. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's I need Robin.
Well, it already keeps on bringing it up. So he's planting the seed. He's planting something there.
Someone on his crew has a read fruit that's able to read anything.
Yeah,
There you
probably.
Go. There you go.
Yeah. Alright. It's some bullshit like
Solved.
that. And we just solved it. Right? Yeah. So we find out the Kazuki clan created the poneglyphs. We still don't know how they did that. That's a mystery. We need to know.
Rio infused
Picks.
Alright. Clearly.
But apparently unbreakable stones. Give us a poneglyph law, please. Give us a law.
They're not sea stone.
Yeah. Alright.
They're the liqueur metal, Christian.
Oden was killed by Kaido and Orochi, so Momo could never learn to read the poneglyphs. Right? Oden was on Roger's crew for his final journey to Raftel.
But oh look, we have logs, so we probably learned how to read the poneglyphs.
Yeah, whatever, alright?
Or the instructions on how to fucking...
Unless it's a
Make
verbal tradition.
Yeah.
Alright? You didn't think about that, did you?
Well, it's also a written tradition because that they'll write it in the secret language.
In the secret language.
Unless they can hear the language. And write
Yeah,
it innately.
exactly. Hear the rhythm of the stone. Or some bullshit.
Hear the rhythm of history.
Yeah. Alright? So we still need that law.
The voice of all things can hear time itself.
Maybe, alright? Kaido thinks that the samurai have information on Raftel. It is said in Zoro. So that's the reason.
What?
That's the reason why Jack went to Zoro. It's not because of Orochi and that bullshit.
Yeah, that's
right?
what he talked about this.
But it's stated here in the chapter. It's stated. In
There
Zoro.
you go.
Next chapter. 819. They must open the borders of Wano because that was Odin's final wish. And we get fucking jack shit about it in Wano. See, we hear about Wano. And the first things we hear about Wano is it has a closed border and we need to open the borders.
And
But we don't know why. Well, we know why, because it's Joy Boy fucking
ancient
history
shit.
bullshit.
Oda can't tell you.
No, I can't tell you. It's not to better the lives of the Wano people.
There's no argument on Orochi's side that's like, no, we need to keep them closed. There's some weird ancient gold
There's no
history.
theme about that in the arc. You thought there would be, because it's stated here.
What's the theme of Wano? We don't know.
Betrayal?
Trust?
Trust?
Revenge?
Maybe, I don't know, dude. You know, Wano, messy arc. We'll say that, right? So, we need to open the borders of Wano. That was Oda's final wish. That's why we must defeat Kaido. To rid Wano of the evil and open up the borders. Alright? They create the alliance to take down Kaido. We got the ninjas, we got the samurai, we got the mink. Alright? We got the alliance. Jack is back. Maybe. And he's here. He's gonna kill Zoro. He's had enough.
Shoot in the legs.
Yeah, he doesn't know. Let's just kill the elephant. It's a fair call. Right? Maybe you should have just gone up there yourself, Jack, and cut that leg off. Get that DC? You got that destructive capability?
Okay.
Right? I'm sure Zoro could cut Pig and cut that leg. Right? I'm sure Jack could cut that leg in some way.
Sure.
Alright. Next chapter, 820. Neko and Inu were on Roger and Whitebeard's ship, but did not go to Raftel. There you go, there it is. Alright. When you get to the end of the Grand Line, you find out about the road poneglyphs, so in a way, Crocus didn't lie. They even made talk about how Crocus told them something different, and Inu's like, yeah, technically it's true, but in a technically a different way, it's not true. So,
well, when you get the Lodestar, you find out. So,
yeah.
There you go.
So Key
Lighting's still salty when I go to Lodestar. Why? No one knows.
It's kind of a retcon.
Yeah.
Because in a roundabout way, I guess it's a retcon, but, you know. It needs to be a little harder to get the Raft out than just go to the end of the ground line.
Because it's not difficult.
Because the Emperor's, you know.
Should have done it already.
Yeah. If it was just get to the end. Alright? So Zoro starts to shake, and Luffy and Momonosuke hear a voice. Next chapter. Zoro is asking for permission to attack Luffy. Zoro is asking the permission of Momonosuke to attack Jack. Asking, if you're there, let me do it. The ruler of Wano, whatever, alright? Now, Zoro gives Momonosuke like this vision / seeing through Zoro's eyes. Zoro has the crazy...
Weird Agent Link.
Zoro has the weird, crazy Mihawk eyes. Is this some mystical observation haki shit?
No.
Hell, it's some magic though. Because Momonosuke is
It's some
seeing
Kazuki
through.
ancient history fucking Void Century shit that we still don't know.
But Aimu does have the same eyes. The swirly red and gun bullshit.
Stop talking about the eyes.
But it happens.
They're not red.
I'm not talking about they're red, they're not red.
Fine.
It's the same pattern.
Doesn't Hakuba have the same eyes?
Zunisha... Yeah, sure. But Zunisha does do something magical.
Okay.
You can't deny that.
It does. Voice of all things, something.
There's something there.
It reminds you of, like, how the, like, Neptunians talk to Luffy.
Yeah, but they're not giving him, like, sight through its eyes. Right?
Yeah, maybe. It's weird. But it's similar.
Something magical has with
These
Zoro.
ancient creatures...
They're mystical creatures.
Yeah.
They're mystical creatures.
Much like the Neptunians controlled by Shirahoshi.
Sure. There's some ancient
weapon, ancient
bullshit
god
going on there.
thing.
Luffy can't talk to it, just like Roger couldn't talk to it. But could hear it.
Yes.
Voices of all things. You would assume that would come up in Wano, maybe? About Momonosuke being somewhat special. Conqueror's Haki. Maybe uses it here.
We'll find out.
On the platform, knocks out a bunch of
Well,
goons.
you'd imagine some assassin comes from, because Yamato needs a fight. So one of the fucking... Someone's going to come after him.
Yeah, Orochi, whatever. Alright, we already talked about that. But you would assume the Will of All Things would come up in Wano, maybe. So Momonosuke could do something, have some insight. Hasn't really come up. Interesting. So Momonosuke gives the order. Jack is absolutely destroyed by Zoro. One shot. Bang. Dead.
Out trunked.
Alright. Neko is wondering how they found Zoro. There must be a traitor.
But let's not think about that.
And the traitor plotline begins.
Let's not think about that. I don't want to think about it.
The traitor plotline begins.
Sure.
Concluded in Wano. See, this is what I mean about Zoro is so tied up in Wano.
Yes.
You got all the mysteries that are tied up into it. You can't really talk about Zoro in retrospect without bringing up Wano.
Sure.
Because you get... It's like the new Star Wars movies. The mysteries are set up in 7 and 8, and they're concluded in 9. And it affects the whole trilogy.
Alright.
Because they're all tied together in a way. It's not like... Like, you could talk about Alabasta in its own, because it's a so contained thing. You could talk about Whiskey Peak. You could talk about a little bit of Drum Island there as well, because they're connected.
Wait.
But as soon as we go to the Water 7, completely different arc, completely different thing. They're connected in some ways in, like, there's the same characters, like the Straw Hats. But they're completely different story arcs. Zou is so intertwined with Wano. It's hard to really pull it apart.
What style do you like better? They both have pros and cons.
We'll get to that in the topic of the show.
Okay.
Because I think Zou really shows what the new world is.
Let's finish this arc.
We're almost finished. We're 2 chapters away.
Let's get it.
Alright. Jack is... Alright. Apu reports that he lost connection with Jack. Alright. 1 chapter left. 8:22. Chopper uses his mystical bandages to fix Zou's leg. Can't forget Chopper's mystical bandages.
Big ones.
Alright? Big mystical bandages.
Some kind of balm as well, I assume.
He told you to pull in the balm. Alright?
Do you know how balm works, Christian?
Alright. No one knows what balm does, alright? It's a balm. Alright? Nami gets the climate tech upgrade. Okay.
Didn't have to use it. But...
Kind of used it, spins, whatever.
Salacious shot.
Frankie says he will make anti-Kano weapons. And Zoro says he will have the samurai follow him in no time. Now this is literally one bubble in one panel. Both in the same panel.
All memes.
All memes didn't really happen.
Frankie's
still holding back those Kano weapons.
We'll see.
Those anti-Kano weapons.
Mini Pluto.
Now he made that claim before he knew anything about Kano. So that's interesting.
Well, he has a knowledge to vaporize islands. So...
Sure, I guess.
Does a general turn into a massive cannon and shoot Kano's face off?
Maybe. If Kinemon can bloody Kano, anyone can bloody Kano.
Well, right. No one's salty about technology in One Piece because it's stupid broken always.
Sure. Alright. Luffy jumps off Zou. He takes Pedro. He takes Kara with him. Hawkeye and crew go.
Yes.
We're talking Nami, we're talking Brook. We're talking Chopper. Alright? Let's go. That's it. That's the end of the arc.
Thoughts?
It's a setup arc for both Hawkeye Gold.
Solid answers. Good environment. Good art. Breakthrough answers a little bit.
We have answers to the mysteries. And once you know the answer, it reduces the enjoyment of the arc. Because there's no big surprise. The big twist is already found out.
I wasn't enthralled while this was live.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, oh, cool every week. It wasn't like, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah. There isn't that Katakuri versus Luffy.
No, there's no hype moment.
There's no extreme high moment. Now, some people will say that's the rise of a safe moment.
It's a good moment. It's not hype.
It's not hype. It's a good moment. We don't know who Rozo is. We don't really know who the Minks are. So it kind of doesn't really have that much impact.
I think this is like, we talk about structure, thoughts of the timeline situations going on.
What do you mean by timeline?
Back and forth a lot.
Yeah, the flashback, in and out of flashback.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. Reading the arc the entire way through, though.
Mm-hmm.
Just quick. Yeah. So, it's a hype. It's a setup arc for both Whole Cake Island and Wano. Now, it's kind of confusing because Oda goes, let's go to Wano, but let's also go to Whole Cake Island right now. When he did the setup arc for Wano some 80 chapters before Wano started.
Yes.
A very interesting move, Oda. Now...
Well, he clearly wanted Big Mom and Kara to be in this war.
I know, but wouldn't... Here's the thing.
Why? We still don't know why.
Why did he do this? Fascinating, alright?
Well, what did we get out of Whole Cake Island?
We'll get Luffy getting
Luffy
stronger,
buff.
and we got Sanji back. But Sanji never had to leave. Like, Sanji didn't have to leave. That was
basically what we got.
Yeah, and the pony leaf. But I feel like if we went to Zou and then straight to Wano and then Hawkeye gone after Wano, but then
Oda clearly had Big Mom Kaido versus
connected.
Luffy.
Sure. But I think that's an interesting discussion to have. What if we went to Wano straight away and then Hawkeye Gone was actually about defeating Big Mom?
Instead of Katakuri.
Instead of getting Sanji back, getting out scot-free, trying to sneak in, sneak out.
Will Future Sight come into play in this kind of fight? Will that fruit bear? Because surely, like, Luffy has the ability for some reason.
He has to really use it. Like, he has to dodge that mace.
Like, if Kaido cannot hit Luffy, worth.
Hokage was worth,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's an interesting discussion maybe for later about what if scenarios about.
But it's like an 80 chapter Luffy getting stronger out of getting a poneglyph.
Sure,
2
but
or 3 years.
I think Hokage works as a whole.
Yeah, maybe yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but Zoro,
Give it rating. What are you leaning? 7, 8?
I'm leaning in the 7 and 8 mark
I can't go any higher.
because it just doesn't have the
It
extreme
doesn't have the
highs.
sauce. It doesn't have the sauce.
Yeah, it just doesn't have the sauce.
It's a good plate of pasta, not enough sauce.
The conclusion of Zunisha smacking Jack is like, did they really get their justice?
Should they just fought Jack?
Should we just fought Jack? Should Luffy just fought Jack?
Just
then?
have Luffy fight Jack for 5 chapters. At the end. That would have been pretty good.
Yeah.
That would have been hype as well. Luffy fighting... That would have been his first commander, no? Billion-Berry Man.
Sure. Taking him out. So we hype up Jack here. In like the Billy Berry Man. He took out the minx. He's hype. He's crazy.
Alright, just give me a rating. 7? Or 8? Which is it? I feel like you're feeling 7.
I'm feeling a 7 for this arc. On the reread. For the reasons I've already stated.
Yes. No real memorable moment outside Wano safe.
Yeah.
Kind of
And maybe the poneglyph stuff's super important.
Yeah.
Poneglyph stuff's super
But that's kind
important
of
for the
wrapped
story.
up into the general lore knowledge
Yeah.
now. It's not really like a Wano.
You don't really remember. It's kind of like The Quest.
Yeah.
Which is like the
Get
whole point
updated
of...
on the quest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's Zoro.
Decent. Good.
Decent, good arc. Nice and quick. No real bullshit there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it leaves everything for Wano to sort out, which, Wano doesn't sort out, but, that's a different discussion.
Yep.
All right?
There we go.
There we are.
Shanks Zero.
Time for How Strong is Shanks? How strong is Shanks? Every week. Every week, we come to you with the question of how strong is Shanks? And every week we answer, Shanks is the strongest. Shanks is the God King. But there are people out there who think Kaido's the strongest.
No.
Who think Drag is the strongest. Who think sweatiest man on the planet is the strongest.
Ridiculous.
Who think Blackbeard's the strongest? What are you talking about? Alright? He's the third fruit apparently. And the worst of them all, people who think Amu is the strongest. But every week we bring 100% factual information to the table. This week's evidence is Shanks is so strong that he can command Zunisha without any restrictions as all creatures obey the God King.
Some Mick Dundee action.
Sure. Shanks is the strongest. Shanks is the God King. Now, time for topic of the show. The New World post-time skip connection saga. Alright? Now,
Yes.
rereading Zoe, it becomes so clear that the New World is one giant arc. Interconnected,
Well, this saga.
full with politics. I would say the entire New World.
Okay.
I'm talking about Fishman Isle as well.
Sure.
All connected. Joy Boy prophecy starts there. Fishman Island. This whole new world is building up to prophecies, Pirate King, Empress, politics.
But would you say that ramps up over time?
No.
I think it does.
I think it really does start a new world.
I think each arc has a little bit more... a little bit more ancient history, a little bit more Void Century,
But
a little bit more Roger, a little bit more Will and Day.
But you look at the pre-time skip.
Sure, it's usually basically...
We're talking about H weapons. We're talking about shit like that. We're not talking about Joy Boy prophecies.
And like
and
Zo, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and the Wano and Kaido.
And this grand plan to make Kaido.
The grand plan starts in fucking Punk Hazard.
Yeah.
Right? So we've got Dressrosa, Punk Hazard, Zo leading up to Wano. Right? So it's all interconnected, interwoven. Which makes it feel like one long story arc.
Yes.
It's not really... You can't... Like, with Alabasta, you could read... You could read Water 7 without reading Alabasta.
Sure.
You're not going to get all the context, you're not going to get all the thing, but you can read the story, you can know what's going on, you can follow along. With the New World, if you don't start with Fishman Island, you're not going to know fucking shit about anything.
Sure.
You can't just jump into one.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
These two different distinct styles, more of a... Sort of like more of an episodic situation and...
Sure.
It's an arc to arc.
Arc to arc.
There's a little
adventure
bit
to adventure.
A little bit of an interconnected tissue with the grand quest.
Sure.
But not interconnected from arc to arc necessarily.
Yeah. Like, Skypiea is a completely separate arc.
I feel like if you do that, you'll never reach the ultimate highs of a complete, sustained story.
Yeah.
But the other style, the style we're in now, dangerous. Infinitely more dangerous.
So much shit that has to be remembered.
And paid off.
Has to be paid off, has to be carried along. We just talked about Zo.
Yes.
How many mysteries set up? How many of those mysteries had satisfying answers? Because they all have to fit in a box
and
later on.
They're like 4 years apart.
Yeah. We're talking 6 years even.
Yeah.
And we have Hawkeye Gold in the middle of that. Which is like, again, it was kind of set up in Fishman Island. Mm-hmm. But the placement... The pre-time skip is clean. Clean. Arc. Big boss. We beat the big boss. We get the thing done.
Then we do Amazon Lily.
We get a crew member. And then the A stuff starts. But...
Which is really the start of the new style.
You can say that. But... It's not like... Well... Put it this way, right? We're going to Impel Down to get Ace back, right? But Magellan is the big bad, and we have to get past Magellan.
Sure, but Doflamingo's the big bad.
But that is not why we're actually there. We're actually there to get Kaido.
Yeah.
Quote unquote, according to law.
Well, we're there to save Ace, and then that doesn't work out.
It doesn't work out, but the goal in the arc is to save Ace.
Sure, but the 3 arcs are connected.
You can make that claim. But I would say...
So what do you prefer? What would you say is... works?
But here's the thing, right? Let's talk about that A stuff.
Yes.
Because it's Amazon Lily. A little bit of Shabondi you can talk about at the end. I'll say Amazon Lily.
Amazon Lily for sure.
It's like 10 chapters.
Yep.
Impel Down, 50 chapters. Marineford payoff.
Yeah. Quick.
We're talking about 60 chapters payoff. We're not talking about some 300 chapters.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. To get a big, massive payoff with this one.
It's medium as well. It doesn't help. We're talking years and years and years.
Yeah.
You talk about like something like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 years. That's how long a mystery lasts. Yeah. Until they start setting up new ones, right?
Yeah.
There's not like an entire 6-season mystery, is there?
Yeah, you could say that there is, with like the White Walkers and shit.
Yeah.
And like Bran and his powers, but whatever. But there's long play mysteries and there's short play mysteries. And the same with the pre-time skip.
Sure.
There's long play and short term payoffs. But I don't think the New World has the short-term payoffs like it did in
Do
the
you
New
think if
World.
Oda just went from arc to arc in the New World, we'd be like, alright, sure, we're just doing the same thing?
What would it would be like Toriko? You know what I mean?
Let's go to this island.
Let's
get
go to
this
this island,
photo.
get this MacGuffin.
Let's go to
there.
Blackbeard's island. Let's fight him.
Yeah. It would be like, let's go over here, get this MacGuffin. Let's go over here, get that MacGuffin. It works. It works. It's a simple motivation. You know?
We talked about planting the scenes a long time ago.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't work. And we're seeing that in Wano.
Here's the thing. The New World doesn't have enough short-term payoffs. And what do I mean by that? We look at the pre-time skip.
I wouldn't say the New World. Like, Wano, like Hokage Island, Zara, Dressrosa, good short-term payoffs. There's
But it's
there's
always
stuff.
like yes, but not the real goal.
Yeah.
You look at Punk Hazard. What's the real payoff with Punk Hazard? We got a little bit of the quest done to go to Dressrosa,
Sure.
and then we get that quest done to go to Zoro, and then
And we
get
found
that,
out what the smiles were in Wano.
Yeah, so that's
There's a lot, yeah.
you look at the pre time skip, right? What are the short term payoffs? Villain fights, the big bads, crocodile, new crew members are the ultimate payoffs, the ultimate dividend given to you after the arc. You went through the arc, we did the thing, we got the thing, we got the crew member, now we have this new character that is with us on the journey.
New power-ups, new abilities.
Didn't feel like a waste of time.
Yes.
Right? Because the crew gained something, we gained something, Luffy learned something, we got something. Alright? We go to Punk Hazard. What do we actually get from Punk Hazard? A opportunity to blackmail Doflamingo.
Yeah.
It's not the same as a simple, gratifying payoff.
So what are you going to say about it?
The scope of the story is too big for the medium. Could it work in film? Could it work in
TV.
Animation, TV? Maybe. But in the weekly manga format, we're waiting literal years for these payoffs.
And not major payoffs.
And not major payoffs, exactly.
Small little payoffs like what are the smiles?
Like, what are the smiles? Who's the trader from Zone?
Yeah.
And was that, like, you could talk about execution all you
Who
want.
was Odin? With Legend of Odin. Fucking
Yeah.
why did Neko and Inu hate each other?
Yeah. We didn't find that out in Zo. If we found that out in Zo, we get a payoff.
Yeah.
But Zo is no payoffs. There's one, which is Rizo. Okay. But Zo is no payoffs. It's all cash that in later. I'll cash that in Wano, and then you'll get them there.
Well, if Wano was answered all the questions,
it would be amazing.
it'd be amazing.
But
we're here.
Yeah. We talked about this before, but I feel like
And that's why
you need to
you
reward
felt
readers for
specifically that Wano was going to be like 300 chapters. Because
Look
there
at
was
all-
so much setup.
Look at all the mysteries in Zo.
Yeah. But
There's so
it'll
much more.
It'll probably end on 100 chapters, right?
We're pretty close to 100 chapters. I don't know what that.
What are we
100
on, 992
1007 would be 100 chapters. So it's gone over that. It's got some more than 17 chapters left.
Yeah.
We're going over 100.
Hey, Oda, let's fight Kaido.
No, absolutely not. Alright? Now, we've talked about this before, but you need to make the readers have rewards for reading the story. Alright? Now, what are rewards? Fights, character moments, new characters joining the crew.
Answers the questions.
Answers the questions. Those are payoffs.
Twists.
Those are rewards for readers.
See, we talked about this when, like, Marco turned up.
Yeah.
He actually didn't have anyone with him other than...
And Jinbei turning up.
Jinbei just turning up. No,
Like, it keeps on happening. This is what happens in the New World. Oda goes, here's the mystery. Here's the intrigue. I'll pay it off later. We get to it. He doesn't pay it off. And by that time, it kind of feels like he's forgotten and we've forgotten what it was actually about. Because of the massive scope of the story. It's kind of like buckling under its own weight. Like, it's It's like a giant like steel ship trying to turn. And you're like, oh, I gotta turn this way to get to this answer, but I gotta turn that way, and then we forget certain things, and the payoffs aren't really the same.
Yeah.
Just a little thing to think about it. The style of the new world versus the style of the the Grand Line post time skip, pre time skip. And there it is. And there's a topic of the show, really emphasized by Zoe. I gotta say, I think this really.
What did Necronator's Shillong forms look like? What do they do?
Found out,
Well, we might know a little bit more about the Shillong soon, but that Jack fight, they're good.
The home form has not been used. All right. I know you love that meme.
Solid meme.
All right, I know you love it. All right, moving on to the Thunderdome. Here we are in the Thunderdome. Jordan Lee this week coming at us with an interesting pick. Don Chinjiao versus Oz with Luffy's powers.
Oz.
Yes.
How does John Chinjiao beat him?
Now, I will remind you of the Pika situation. Where King Punch plus Dragon Drill Nail,
But he's a zombie.
it's a problem. Alright?
Unless
Has to work it out.
Unless the fight lasts until morning. What is this? What time does the Thunderdome even start? It's at night. It's dark.
But he's got Warrior in him, so it doesn't count. He's got the shadows. He's got the shadow. He doesn't die because of daylight. Yeah. How could you not remember how Warrior shadows work?
Yeah, my bad.
Alright?
The Mori doesn't know how they work.
Alright,
so...
the shadows, how can you forget, alright? So, he's written us a little...
I suspect he's gone for Oz, but let's go.
In my opinion, Oz wins due to better physical feats, and I believe all the straw hats together.
I mean, is this sad head Don Chinjiao as well?
According to the power scale, it is.
Oz.
Alright. Also, we have to account for the zombies' no pain and no death advantage. Assuming no sunlight. Fuck. Am I wrong, or is
No one knows how the shadows
Jordan Lee
work.
wrong? Or does no
Well,
one know
if
how
you
the
don't
shadows-
have a shadow, you die.
But he always has the shadow, so he's fine.
Right.
He's got Luffy's shadow.
Yeah.
He's fine, alright? Also, we have to account for the zombies' no pain, no death advantage, alright? The only thing Don Chinjiao has is Haki over Oz, and he only has Armament and King's Haki. He's probably got observation. Come on. I don't see observation from him. He also knows Kenpo as well, but I don't think Oz is too big for that to affect him. Overall, Oz wins Extreme Diff IMO. It's physical power versus physical power.
And Oz has infinite stamina.
And
No
I would
pain.
say... Fuck.
Continent
You
puller,
get-
apparently, Christian.
What?
Continent puller.
A mini continent pull or some shit, Who knows what that is?
And Don Chinjiao, the continent breaker. But doesn't have that head anymore, and not his pride.
He doesn't have the head anymore, and he's not...
Oz.
We have to give it to Oz. Don Chinjiao...
It'll be a long, drawn-out fight, but Oz doesn't feel pain or lose stamina.
Yeah, unless Don Chinjiao works out his
Although
weakness.
he does have Luffy's personality, so he would want food.
Yeah, but...
He wants
Luffy
meat.
fights
He
for
does
12
want meat.
hours. Alright, but Luffy fights for 12 hours.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
We're gonna have to give this one to Oz. I don't see Don Chinjiao winning this
Yes.
one. We know fucking Don Chinjiao broke Pika's fist, but that was with the nail head. He does not have the nail head here because Sai broke it. Alright? Current day, Don Chinjiao. Not halfway weird prime Josh Frozen Don Chinjiao. Alright?
Sure.
Moving on to the question corner.
Questions.
Question corner. First question comes in from Left Jab. when can you do a Shanks special? Like everything about Shanks, his crew, his overall goals, purpose, theories, and everything's in one Shanks video. We already did that. It's called the Shanks God King special.
Not that long ago.
I think it was over a year ago, but we have done that. Go watch that.
It was this year.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy, dude. It was not this year.
It was this year because I made the thumbnail on Harmony. It was this year. It wasn't that long ago.
It's crazy, right?
I think it was in COVID, Kansas.
I thought it was literally 10,000 years ago.
No.
2020, man.
It's been a
2020.
long year.
2020, the year that never ends. Alright, there it is. Alright. From Bazala. Have you guys seen any of Totally Not Mark's videos?
Yes.
He is reading One Piece blind and reviewing it arc by arc. Yeah. I've seen him around, I haven't watched them. Are they good?
Yeah, he's just like One Piece.
Yeah.
Oda's the
I
goat.
guess that's good.
Every time someone reads One Piece, they're like, yeah, Oda's the goat. And that's obvious.
We are stuck.
You only get salty when you do week to week.
The week-to-week hardcore grind.
It's
right?
That's the only way you get salty.
Alright, the week-to-week hardcore grind.
I guarantee you, when One Piece is over in 10 years, and the kids read it from start to finish,
Goated.
go to 10 out of 10. But the salty veterans,
We are the salty vet. We're punished.
the salty veterans, would be like, I was there in Wano.
We were there week to week.
Yes.
We felt that pain.
We had to wait for it. We had to wait 5 years to get the answer of why Neko and Ino hate each other.
And it wasn't even that. Well, whatever. Alright.
Not a week of reading.
No. Next question. Alright. From Sondi Lollipop. Do you guys think overrated what? Who do you guys think ordered Zunisha to walk? Is there any chance it was Aimu? If it's not, was it the ancient Kazuki clan ancestors? Still answers we don't have. We got nothing about Zou. Thought we would have found out in Wano. Still trying to find out
Yeah.
the secrets to Zou. Yeah, again, Zou is the arc of mysteries that are yet to pay off. Or most of them have been paid off, but there's still a few left.
Mm-hmm.
Next question.
So should be in the ancient history flashback.
Maybe.
Should be.
But we'll find out.
Maybe it's a Laboon situation with Joy Boy.
Maybe, alright? From Joshua. Could Sulong Minx be in the space between Katakuri Zabo and Fujitora Rayleigh? No.
Fujitora.
You know how this is. You know how this bullshit is.
I'm saying it right now. Sulong Neko and Ino Admiral Level Easy. They demolished Drake. Jack, rather. Demolished.
Kano acknowledged their strength.
Instantly demolished.
Kano said they're too strong for commander
No
level.
diff.
They're too strong for commander level.
You would expect Akiji and Kuzaru, no diff Jack, together.
Well, Kuzan couldn't no diff Jozu.
Got bloodied.
Got bloodied. How could we forget? Alright, but regardless of... I think they're animal level.
Yes.
Kano acknowledging their strength as stronger than his handpicked commanders instantly puts them above that level.
No, the between... People say two animals take out a Yonko. That's what people say. They're
It's
not
a
gonna.
time
They're gonna.
It's a time
They're gonna
limit.
burn out quick.
It's a time limit.
They're gonna burn out real soon.
It's a time limit. Relax.
Yes.
And I don't like the agenda that Fujitora is not animal level. I find it hilarious.
It's a dumb agenda.
It's an agenda. Stop. Alright, I'm not acknowledging the low, mid, and high animal position. It is stupid.
Now, some say
Kizaru is the only animal level character.
Glam says
What?
that Kizaru would no diff Jack by himself. Couldn't no Jack, no diff.
Kizaru.
Jozu couldn't no diff. Marco couldn't no diff. Van Beckman.
Sure, but it is what it is there, alright? But I'm not accepting...
Do you think Jack's got the thick fat buff so he doesn't get frozen?
100%, alright? Jack, tough man, alright? We're moving on,
People gas the fucking
We're moving
animals
on.
up so much.
We're moving on.
enrages me.
alright?
Yes.
We can't have this animal debate right now. All right, unless there's another question about it. All right. From the gaming agency, any theories of what Zou was doing during the Void Century?
Well, he's punished.
Sent off to walk forever. The Kazuki clan is the only one who could control him or her, whatever it is.
Some kind of bad deed.
Yeah, some ancient history shit for sure. All right, next question. From Harveston Berry. Do you think Hawkins will use his power-up card on Kaido since he clearly needs it?
Fuck no.
It's a good meme. But Kaido definitely does not need that ultimate potential card, alright?
We're going to see Luffy.
I want to see Luffy, Ultra Instinct, right? God card.
We're waiting for this God card for a while.
Alright.
Be hilarious if he never uses it. Like, why, Oda?
Just anime.
Yeah.
Just anime. It is what it is, right? From Tom.
Every fucking time someone's like, yeah, Hawkins uses the potential card to win. Yeah, alright, bro.
It's just a power scaling thing that Hawkins has, apparently, alright? Where do you think Garp's character is heading or possibly ending? I think he's going to make a grand stand against the Navy at some point.
Yeah.
Some grand stand. I've had enough. I have enough of this bullshit.
That's it. I'm joining my son.
Yeah. I think that's what it's going to be.
I don't know what that flame point would be.
At some point. Somewhere. You know.
He knows the social tracks of trash monkeys.
Maybe they push it too far.
How far can they push it? Ultimate genocide? I guess what they go for.
Yeah.
Well, oh, we hired Blackbeard to take an Alabaster. That would push it over the limits. This series coming together. This series happening.
It's a great theory.
It's happening.
I'm not going to lie. It's a great theory.
People look, oh, why? Shut up.
From Mac. If you had to choose between Nami or Usopp for the captain of the Straw Hats, who and why? You give it to Nami.
Yeah.
She got the IQ. She got the street smarts.
She would never be Pirate King or get anywhere, but...
she put up some fucking... Alright, relax.
Well, they both never want to fight, so...
Yeah, but Nami not wanting to fight is a meme. Usopp is actually doesn't want to fight.
Well, if she was the captain...
she would have to fight.
She'd probably get a right-hand man and shit to do shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Depends on her ambition, you know?
Again, from Mac, Wano overall rating... Wano rating overall pre-finished.
I think we're a 6 or a 5 at the moment. We were going strong in Onigashima for a while. The last chapter
kind of ruined the momentum for us.
Sullied a little bit. I think we're at a 6 at the moment. You can't forget...
Can't forget Act 2.
You can't forget Act 2, but, you know, you look at Shanks in that flashback and you get excited.
There's a lot of shininess. A lot of sparkles.
I think we're at a 6 at the moment. Yeah, we could go 5, we could go 4.
Depending on the ending.
But we could go 8.
I don't know if we can ever hit 8, dude.
We could hit 8. The hype levels can reach insanity.
If the hype levels reach insanity, we're talking Blackbeard, we're talking Shanks.
Maybe even a 9, who knows?
Alright.
Maybe we just forget it for the last 2 years.
Forget about Act 2. You know.
If the hype levels are that high, it's possible to get an 8.
Maybe. But right now, 6/5. You know, it is what it is there. We'll see. From Beyond, what is happening to One Piece? Like, at one point, do we get nervous about our favorite series falling apart in front of our eyes? Well,
But a series of poor choices and bad payoffs is usually the indication.
it's not like a Bleach situation where there's an absolutely...
Let's take Naruto, for example.
But I think it's different because Bleach bounced back after an arc. Because you had that bullshit arc with the fucking lose the powers bullshit.
Yeah.
And everyone fucking hated it. And then he brought it back with War
the more apt example, I think, would be Naruto's slow decline into madness.
Sure. But we're talking about sort of bringing it back.
Bouncing back.
It hasn't got to the point where it's that bad. There's been some moments. I'll give you that.
Amnesia.
See, I have the soundboard right now. We play it.
Listen. There's always a chance to back. After this saga, we got a new saga. So clean slate.
Yeah, but the New World issues.
So we can
Never clean slate.
the clean slate.
Yeah.
But Carter's defeated. You know, there's a new thing to do. The quest is complete. We're on to the next quest. We hand it in. We get an XP. We get a new quest. So
I hope, dude.
That's a mini reset point after the saga's ended.
Sure.
And we're all high from here.
Yeah.
There's nothing left. As we said, Oda, stop with the
new
nonsense.
characters.
No new characters. Use what you have. All hype.
That's it. Why new characters? There's no point in new characters.
Give us answers on Mihawk instead of making some random character like Shinobi that no one
Kidamon.
cares about. Answer questions about Mihawk.
It's time.
Instead of, you know, just...
You know why? Because there's still so much potential.
Making up nonsense about other characters that
It's not like Naruto. By the time we got to the end, it was like... I mean, Kaguya's here.
Yeah.
We still got so much shit to answer. We got Akainu. We got Blackbeard.
Well, hype name.
We got Shanks. We got Mihawk. The best is still yet to come. That's why we're here.
Grimble still silhouette.
When the fuck is that gonna happen? Who the fuck knows, dude? From Bardock, also known as Andre. What do you really think of Oda?
Is he gonna talk about skid fights?
100% he is. Alright. How could you even think he would ask about anything else?
Of course.
Or do you really think about Oda skipping fights and not really caring about the component of the story? I find it very upsetting. He puts so little effort in the fighting aspect in a shonen battle manga. The story would be so much more enjoyable if the characters had time to shine in their proper fights. That's just me.
They do, though.
All Oda had to do...
Andre, I agree this week. Poor.
All Oda had to do was draw one panel.
Poor.
One double page spread.
I agree with Andre this week that the fight Jack Neko Inu, poor.
If Oda skips
Nami Usopp,
ulti page 1.
It's not true that he doesn't care about fights because he drew 14 chapters of Luffy.
Luffy versus Katakuri. It's like 14 chapters, alright? So he cares, alright? But we can't, if Nami and Usopp, maybe Nami's last fight ever in the series, it gets skipped, we're gonna riot. I can't have it.
Imagine if it happens the same way as Jack.
He's dead on the floor somehow. No, I said this last week. Nami and Usopp can't just win via speed with fucking destruction.
They don't have the power.
They don't have the power to do that.
And if he's
It
dumb
needs
as
to be
fuck.
IQ. It needs to be IQ, and you need time to explain that. Alright, so do not skip Nami and Usopp. Can't do it to me. Alright, you can't do it to me, alright? Moving on. From that, have you guys thought on what you guys are doing if OP never goes on hiatus and or extended break? What are you gonna do if we go to extended break? Like a fucking 2-month hiatus. What are we doing?
Talk shit.
We have to deliver the
We
message
said
of
every week.
Shanks.
Oh, that's all we do.
We'll come up with creative solutions. Now, will the episodes be 2 hours long? Probably not.
Yeah.
But we'll come up with something. Right? From Rhaegar, so did Kojuro just not tell the Beast Pirates about the Scabbards still being alive? Why were they supposed to get sneak attacked? Well, Orochi knew the entire time. No one believed him. But Orochi knew the samurai were alive the whole time.
And Kaido.
And Kaido, but yeah. But they knew. They had the info. I don't know about... They just let it happen. They were going to do it on the night to have ultimate despair. Add villain shit. You know how it is. So, there you go. And I think that's the last question.
There we go. There it is.
There's the episode.
Next week, who knows?
Next week, who knows? Another break. Another... Brutality Unchained.
We might do a call-in show. We might have a couple of guests on to just
We
talk shit.
we may not get to chapter 1000 this year. Crazy.
After this 2
week.
Looking shaky.
Look real shaky, right? But there it is. Like the show. subscribe to the channel.
New year, new chapter 1000, Christian. That'd be a good way to start off the new year, 2021. Infinitely better already.
Sure.
So that might be alright.
Get me out of this fucking bullshit, yeah.
Yes.
Alright. Shanks is the God King.
Good night.
Good night.